Hello you lovely kings, queens, and in-betweens. My name is Elaine, and today I'm going to be talking about Kemomimi Panic, a game for 4 to 8 players which should take about 45 minutes to play. The game is set in the town of Moke Moke, a town inhabited by part animal people. Each resident wears a beautiful, glaring accessory, but there's a problem. Someone is after those shiny accessories. The burglar, Crescent Moon. And unfortunately, those who lose their treasures will have to leave town. In order to save the town and its residents, players have to work together to determine who Crescent Moon is before only 2 players remain. Otherwise, the town loses the game. Setup for the game is super easy, barely an inconvenience. First, you're going to pick a facilitator. Their job is to basically make sure that everything runs smoothly. From there, the facilitator is going to take all of the character cards, shuffle them, and deal 1 to each player, including themselves. Each player then looks over the abilities on their character card, shows the card to the rest of the group, and sets it face up on the table. Please note that Detective Shamrock must be a character option. From there, you're going to remove the Crescent Moon roll card, or in the case of an 8-player game, both the Crescent Moon and Full Moon cards, and set them aside. Replace it with a citizen card from the box, 2 citizen cards in an 8-player game, and shuffle the roll cards. Then remove 1 of the roll cards, again remove 2 for an 8-player game, at random. Put the removed cards back in the box without looking at them. Now put the thief roll card or cards that you removed back in and shuffle the cards again. The facilitator then takes the shuffled roll cards and deals 1 to each player, including themselves. This procedure ensures that you won't know if there is an informant in play. The informant card may in fact be in the box. No one is supposed to know one way or the other until after the game is over. Each player should take a moment to look over the roll card and then put it in front of them face down. From there, the facilitator gives a decoy card to each player. Each player puts the decoy card face up on top of their roll card. Then, the facilitator gives the moon card to the player to the left of the Detective Shamrock player, with the Crescent Moon side face up. Finally, they set the target card in the middle of the table, completing game setup. At this point, you're ready to play. This game switches between a day phase and a night phase until you reach one of the conditions for the game ending, which is either when the thief's identity is revealed or there are only 2 players left. During the day phase, all of the players, including the thief, debate who they think the thief is. During the night phase, if the moon card is on its Crescent Moon side, the Crescent Moon player will secretly designate 1 other player. In an 8-player game, the Full Moon player will also do this when the moon card is on its Full Moon side. If the designated player has a decoy card in front of them, that will get stolen. Players whose treasures are stolen turn their roll card face up and drop out of the game. Who wins the game will depend on which rolls are left at the end of the game. If the citizens win, any citizens who are eliminated are also considered winners. The game goes as follows. 1. Game starting phase. 2. Day phase. Name a suspect, voting, determine vote results, and 3. Night phase. Burglary. Once the night phase is done, a new day starts and you go back to the day phase. Now, I'm going to talk about each of these phases in a little more detail. The game starting phase. First, as per one of Detective Shamrock's abilities, the player who got the Detective Shamrock card designates another player of their choice. Everyone except Shamrock and the player they designated puts their heads down and closes their eyes. The designated player then silently and honestly takes one of the following poses. If you are a citizen, touch your thumbs to your index fingers to make circles and show them to the Shamrock player. If you are a thief or informant, cross your arms to make an X. Once the Shamrock player has seen the designated player's pose, they tell the group to raise their heads and open their eyes. The player who has the moon card with the Crescent Moon side up in front of them becomes the leader and begins the first day. Day phase. The group then discusses who they think is the thief. The discussion should finish up in about 3 minutes, and the facilitator should keep track of time. Once the discussion is done, the leader names a suspect. They say, "You're a suspect," and point the hour on the target card at them. From there, it's time for voting. Players who think the suspect is the culprit vote aye. Naturally, you're going to determine the result of the votes after that. If more than half of the players vote aye, the suspect is confirmed as such. If the confirmed suspect has a decoy card, they lose it. Set it aside so it doesn't interfere with the game. If they don't have a decoy, they turn their roll card face up and are eliminated from the game. This is when character abilities come into play. Each character card has a special ability of some kind. The ability and the timing for using it appear in the lower portion of the card. If there are multiple abilities in play that have the same timing, they go in ascending order of the numbers listed next to the timing. For example, an ability that says day phase 3 goes after one that says day phase 1. If the eliminated player turns out to be the thief, the game ends. Regardless of who was eliminated, check the roll card for effects that come into play when they're eliminated. Finally, if less than half of the votes are aye, nothing happens. From there, we enter the night phase. If the leader's moon card is on the Crescent Moon side, it's time for the Great Thief Crescent Moon to do another daring burglary. Since you start the game with a Crescent Moon, there will be a burglary your first round. If the leader's moon card is on the full moon side, there won't be a burglary. How to burgle. Set the target card in the middle of the table. All players extend their right hands into the center of the table over the target card without touching it. At this point, the facilitator tells everyone to shut their eyes. The facilitator shuts their eyes too. They'll say something along the lines of, "Now it's night, everyone is fast asleep." At that point, the facilitator will instruct the thief to open their eyes. They will give the thief 10 seconds to sneak into someone's house and begin a countdown. At that point, the thief player moves their hand just enough to turn the target card to point at whoever they want to target. When the facilitator finishes their count, they say the following: "Morning has come, everyone please open your eyes." All players then open their eyes and retract their hands. The player with the arrow pointing at them was robbed the night before. If they have a decoy in front of them, they lose it, and if they don't, they're eliminated from the game. If the roll card has a win eliminated effect, it then takes effect. And with that, you've finished a day. The leader flips the moon card over and passes it to the player on their left. The player who received the moon card becomes the new leader. The facilitator then moves things on to another day phase. Again, the game ends when one of the following conditions are met. The thief player is eliminated from the game, or whether through voting and or burglaries, all but 2 players are eliminated. When one of these conditions are met, you determine the winner. If all thieves are eliminated, all citizens are considered winners, including those who have been eliminated from the game. If the 2 players left at the end of a game are a thief and a citizen, the thief wins. In an 8-player game, a thief who was eliminated is still considered one of the winners. Finally, if the 2 players left at the end of a game are a thief and an informant, the informant wins. In an 8-player game, it's important to note that the basic rules are the same, but the following changes apply. When you play with 8 players, there are 2 thieves. The thief Crescent Moon strikes during the night of the Crescent Moon, while the thief Full Moon strikes during the full moon. In other words, there's a robbery every night. There's also scoring options available if you want to do that. They're optional, so you don't have to. Especially if you're playing with a newer group, it might be easier for them to get the hang of the game if you don't have those extra scoring options. Now that I've taken the time to show you all how to play, I want to take a few moments to provide my final thoughts on the game. I like a lot about this game. First, it's very table friendly, it's very budget friendly, it's family friendly. I like that it is a party game because there aren't a lot of games that can support a larger group of people in comparison to other games. And I also like that it's shelf friendly. I love the art. I'm a sucker for anime art, and this game really delivers. I think for the most part, the components are strong. My only issue is that the cards included in the game do come in a traditional card box, like what you'd find on a deck of cards. And it's very hard to open it without damaging it, so I tend to prefer storing the cards separately in the inserts within the box. This game reminds me a lot of Werewolf. I think in some ways it's a little more simplified than Werewolf. So if you're a fan of Werewolf, I think you will enjoy this game, and I think it's something worth checking out, especially if you're a fan of anime art or if you want a change of pace. I've included a link for the game down below in the description. It comes at no extra cost to you, and it really helps out the channel. And with that, I'm going to conclude my how to play and review of Kemomimi Panic. What did you think of my review and my how to play? Did I leave anything out? Let me know down below in the comments. I always like to know what you kings, queens, and in-betweens think. And if you like what you saw here today, please smash that like button until it's blue. Subscribe, ring that bell so you always know what's up, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Bye, guys.
Hi, Tisha Valenza, aka Poison Ivy, and you've just been watching King's Entertainment Reviews. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and watch.